Hello everybody and welcome to episode number 6 of Fast and the Nebula. I'm your host as obviously Ploetner, and we've got a lot of previewing to do for this week's action. So this weekend's action includes the 4 big motorsports that I typically cover, which is of course Formula 1, NASCAR, MotoGP and IndyCar. I'm just speaking as if I'm imagining Can't Stop by the Red Hot Chili Peppers is playing. Can't stop, addicted to the shindig. Anyway, so we'll start off with, of course, the main motorsport that I watch, and that is, of course, Formula 1. So, Formula 1's Japanese Grand Prix is this weekend, and it is at 6 in the morning, which is, yay, great. Great. Anyway, so yes, in this podcast, I'm going to be looking through who I think the favourites are and who I think is going to be doing absolutely terribly in each of the respective sports. So we'll begin with Formula 1, as I said, and they're going to be in Japan. Of course, the reigning race winner is Max Verstappen, who won the race last year after that absolute bore fest in which neither of the McLarens could pass him. And Verstappen won that race because he managed to get pole position. And this is exactly why I am glad that we no longer have those cars. Woo! Yay! No more cars that can't overtake. Now we have cars that can overtake, but often only do because of the battery. But let's just get straight into this. Who I think is going to be strong? Well, it's definitely not going to be Red Bull like last year. I don't think that they're going to be up there. But hey, at least they're not with Honda anymore. Honda are in an absolute mess, and this is their home race. So they're going to be hoping for something that is not a PR disaster. But I think the heavier likelihood is the fact that they are probably not going to finish the race. They might get like 30 laps done, maybe 35 if they're lucky. But yeah, I don't see them finishing the race, to be honest. Aston Martin out of the way, don't need to talk about them anymore. And then we move on to who I think the favourites are going to be. It's going to be Mercedes and Ferrari again. I know it's so boring to say that, but I just think that they're just so strong, and I heavily doubt that anybody is going to be able to stop the duo. McLaren and Red Bull will be just a little bit behind again. I think this weekend, I mean, if you look at last year's race results, you can get a pretty good indication of like where everybody was then, and I think it's going to be a similar case this year in terms of what the strong suit will be for certain tracks. I mean, I as I said, Ferrari and Mercedes will be strong. Racing Bulls and Haas will probably be quite quick as well. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at it, and Alonso finished 11th last year. Also, every car finished the race. That is definitely not going to happen this year. If that does happen this year, I will be very, very surprised. I would say like I would jump in the nearby canal or something, but I do not have the balls to do that. If you want content like that, go and check out the Irish guy who's like a football content creator. He says, if this happens, I'll do this. And he does actually end up doing it every single time. So yeah, I think Ferrari and Mercedes are going to be the strongest teams once again. I mean, both teams have great histories at the Suzuka circuit. The team with the most wins there is McLaren. They've got 9 wins there. 8 wins at Suzuka, I should say. 1 was with James Hunt in Fuji. Ferrari have won a few times there as well. Michael Schumacher has won there quite a lot for Ferrari. He won there 5 times for them. But most recently, it's been a Red Bull track. Verstappen's won the last 4 years here, so you will expect him to be strong, and he might be a podium contender, but I doubt it. As I said, Mercedes have a good record as well. They won the last 6 years before COVID-19. So it's mainly been a Red Bull Mercedes track the last 15 years, but McLaren have won it once or twice as well. So yeah, I think that it's going to be mainly Mercedes and Ferrari that are on top, but don't count out Max Verstappen because you never can. I think, as I said, top of the midfield, I think it's going to be Haas again. Look out for Ollie Bearman. He scored points last year in Suzuka, and that was his first ever visit to the track. So he's going to have even more experience than he had last year when it comes to racing around there. Of course, this is a big race for Haas because their technical partners are Toyota, so this is a home race for them. So it's not just Aston Martin that have that pressure; it's also also Haas, because they've of course got the Toyota sponsorship. Obviously, it's not a title sponsor or an engine supplier, but they are still in a partnership with them. Actually, no, never mind. They are that is their title sponsor. I didn't actually realize that. I thought it was still MoneyGram. It's TGR that's their title sponsor. So there is quite a bit of pressure on them. And also, Ayo Komatsu is Japanese. They're team principal. So it's a big race for Haas. But it's probably an even bigger race for Aston Martin. When it comes to the teams, I think they'll be fighting for the points. As I said, Haas. I think Williams will be up there as well. I think they'll be a little bit quicker this weekend than they were last weekend. It's going to be interesting to see how the hybrid system works, how the battery system works around Suzuka, because you got to remember that it's a bit of a slower track than Australia, and it's similar to China because there's a lot of medium speed corners. I think of the Dunlop curves, the Degners, the S6, the S section in sector 1, and as I said, Dunlop curve, and then you've also got a couple slower corners, like I said, you got Casio Triangle, which is the chicane, and then you've also got the hairpin, but then you've got one or two fast corners. You've got turn 1 and you've got 130R, so it's going to be rather interesting to see what the dynamic is. I think it's going to be pretty similar to China because there's a lot of medium speed corners. I think in some ways it'll be similar to Australia as well, although Australia has a lot more straights. There's quite a few similarities in medium speed corners, so I think it'll be a bit of a blend of the two because it doesn't have as many straights as Australia does, and it doesn't have the length of the straights that Shanghai does, but it still has a couple of straights, but it's mainly medium to high speed corners. So there probably will be quite a bit of battery saving over the lap, and it will come a lot down to deployment, I think, once again. I think a big part is going to be reliability because, as we've seen the first 2 races of the season, reliability has not been on point for every team. A lot of teams have had issues and mechanical faults. So it's going to be a fascinating watch for sure, I think, anyway. I do think Mercedes are going to win, though, and my prediction is I'm going to say that George Russell... Actually, no, I'm going to say Kimi Antonelli wins, and the reason why is because he had a really good race last year at Suzuka. So I'm gonna say Kimi wins, and then I don't think it will be a Mercedes 1-2. I think I'm gonna say Lewis finishes in second and George in third, which might be actually no. I'll go George second and Lewis third. It's unfortunate that it's come to this, but it's going to be a Mercedes 1-2 again. I was trying so hard to be a little bit delusional, but it's not gonna happen. Mercedes are gonna finish 1-2, aren't they? Yeah, they are. So that's Formula 1 mostly done. I think that the underdog this weekend is going to be, if I had to say one driver, tell you what, I'm actually gonna, who I'm actually gonna say? I'm gonna say, who did I say? I'm gonna go for Ollie Behrman. Actually, no, he's not really an underdog anymore, though, is he? He's not an underdog. Damn. Okay, I'll go for Liam Lawson. I'll go for... Actually, no. I won't. I'll go Alex Albon for underdog. I'll go Alex Albon. He finished 9th last year there. I'll go Alex Albon for underdog. So there you go. So that's F1 done. I'm only going to be talking about each of these for about 9 or 10 minutes, so it's not going to be as long as the reviews were because there's a lot more to talk about. Then NASCAR at Martinsville. Now that's going to be fun because obviously Martinsville is one of the shorter ovals, and it's usually stirring up a pretty good race. I'm just looking at the length of it now. It's 0.526 miles long, which is quite crazy. 12-degree banking, and it's the concrete racetrack. So they've hosted NASCAR Cup races since all the way back in 1949, which was when it first began. It's always been a part of the NASCAR schedule, which is quite impressive, really. You're going around and around and around and around. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes when it comes to the Cup at Martinsville. The last race there was last year, and it was won by William Byron. So that's quite interesting. If you look at the other guys who raced well there, Blaney, Elliott, Chastain's going to be one to keep an eye on, I think, because he has always ran very well at Martinsville. Larson, Priest, and then Bell, Logano, Gilliland, and was it Reddick? It was 10th? No, who was 10th? I'm just checking this. Hang on a second. And Berry. So quite a few guys in there who were championship challengers. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. When you look at, Byron's probably going to be the favorite coming into it because he absolutely dominated Martinsville last time. He was really, really quick. He won the first stage, he won the second stage, and he won the final stage and got pole position and fastest lap. So he basically dominated the whole event. So Byron's probably going to be the favorite for this weekend, and you know what? You can definitely make a case for him being the favorite for the weekend. I think that in terms of underdogs, I'm going to go for Ryan Preece, and the reason why is because RFK have been really solid this year. Preece has finished every lap of the season so far. All the RFK cars that are full-time have, which is something which I only found out yesterday. Today. Or was it yesterday? No, it was yesterday when I was having a look. No, it was today when I was having a little look at some statistics for my NASCAR short, which I released on the channel, which was having a look at 8 race stats from this weekend, from last weekend's action, from Arlington. So, Darlington, sorry. Arlington was where IndyCar was. American place names, am I right? So, yeah, I think that I would personally say that Preece is going to run well here because he raced really well there last year. And RFK have been really quick this year so far. And, well, not necessarily quick, but they've been consistent. They've been finishing races, which is something that not many others have been doing. I mean, only 5 drivers have completed every lap, and 3 of them are RFK cars. So it's very, very impressive what the RFK crew are doing. So shout out to them. In terms of other guys who've ran well here that might be a bit unexpected, Shane van Gisbergen finished 14th last year, and his oval pace has improved quite a bit so far this season. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's up in the top 10. I wouldn't put it past him. But the favourites, as always, it's going to be the guys who did well here in the past few years, such as, your Blaney's, your, as I said, your Byrons, your Chase Elliott's, guys like that who have ran well there. But, I mean, that was me just looking at the autumn race. I mean, the spring race, Denny Hamlin won it. And Bell was second in that one, and he was 7th in the other. So it's quite interesting when you look at the two and see. I mean, Larson's the consistent one. He finished 5th in both, and what's his name finished in 4th. Elliott finished 4th and 3rd. So Elliott and Larson are the two most consistent ones. But Byron dominated the last one so much that I just think he is going to be the favorite coming into it, because the dude is that quick, So I can see him being right up there. So, yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. But if I had to pick one driver to win it, I would say William Byron, because he's just been so good around there, and he has been very quick. I'm gonna see who actually was on pole for Martinsville. It was Bell that was on pole for Martinsville in the spring, but Byron was 10th, which isn't too bad, to be fair. So sorry, I'm umming a lot. That's sort of that done. I think I don't really have much else to say about NASCAR, to be honest. I mean, coming into the weekend, Reddick is going to be one of the favourites as well, because, I mean, the guy's on absolute fire right now. Where did Bubba finish last time? He finished 18th, and he finished 3rd. So, I mean, Bubba could be up there, maybe. I mean, it's quite difficult to tell, to be fair, because, I mean, when you've got 2 races from that from Martinsville, and you get quite a lot of different results for a lot of drivers, it can be quite difficult to predict. So that's why I'm looking at the guys who had high finishes in both of them. So, for example, Larson finishing 5th in both, Elliott finishing 4th and 3rd. results like that. Bell is another one because I mean he was second in the spring race and then he was seventh in the autumn race. In the autumn race, in the penultimate race of the year. So honestly, it could go anywhere. I think genuinely, it's gonna be a fascinating watch because these short ovals are so entertaining because whilst the laps go by really really quickly, there's and you lap cars quicker, and that causes more chaos. It can be very difficult to pass around these tracks. Of course, that's the famous track. Martinsville is the track where Ross Chastain had his famous moment to get into the chase get into the to get into the to the final four, where he did his famous wall ride, and it is one of the greatest moments in NASCAR history. Chastain doing that actually set a lap record, and I don't think it's going to get beaten because of the fact that it's illegal to do that now. What was the fastest lap? I need to check that. Wait, what was the fastest lap? I'm trying to check. Where is the lap record? I'm trying to see what the lap record for this place is. I'm gonna have a look. It is a 18.8. I don't know what the previous record was, but it's not gonna get beaten. Because Chastain just he just wall rode. Ross Chastain in 2022. What an end to the season he had. 4 top 5 finishes in a row. Mental. 5 of his last 6 races had that. But Logano won it. So unfortunate for him, and for Bell because Bell's not won it yet. Not won a championship either. So unfortunate for them both, but that's the way it goes, to quote George Harrison. Anyway, that's probably NASCAR covered pretty well, I'd say. Now we're going to get into MotoGP. Actually, no, I didn't say who I said who my underdog would be. I'd said it would be Ryan Preece, didn't I? So, and I said that I think Byron will win it. Although Reddick could win it as well, so could Larson, so could Bell, so could Bubba. There's a lot of guys who could win it. But I'm gonna say William Byron, the defending race winner. America's GP. Now, MotoGP, this is going to be another interesting one because last year was one of the few times where Pecco Bagnaia won, I'm pretty sure, if I am correct, because Marc Marquez crashed in the rain. It was a very poor year for Pecco, but he still won there. I forgot Pecco finished 5th in the standings. That is so bad. He was absolutely abysmal that year. And he finished the season off with 5 retirements in a row. And then barring Japan, it was 6 in his last. Okay. But yeah, Kota last year, Alex Marquez finished 2nd. And DG finished in 3rd. So this is, it's going to be fast. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be Jack Miller finished in 5th for Yamaha as well, which was very impressive. But if I had to say who my favorite was, I'm probably gonna say Bez again. If not, and actually no, I'm gonna say Marc Marquez. I think Marquez will win it because he is so good around the Circuit of the Americas. I think the underdog is gonna be Alex Rins because I mean the guy's won. He's one of only 2 drivers to have won multiple times around Kota in MotoGP. The other one being Marc Marquez himself. So I'm expecting Alex. Sorry, got the former Suzuki teammates confused. I'm expecting Alex Rins and Marc Marquez. I expect Rins to be the underdog and Marquez to win. And if I had to say, I'll say a podium for NASCARs as well. For a podium for NASCAR, I will go, obviously they don't really do podiums, but I'll say my podium anyway. This is a very sort of European thing. I'll go Byron first, I will go Reddick in 2nd, and I will go Bell in 3rd. That's what I'll go for that. And then my podium for MotoGP, I'm going to go Marc Marquez in 1st, Marco Bezzecchi in 2nd, and I'm going to go Jorge Martin in 3rd. I think Acosta will probably be just outside the podium. And same with DG. I think DG will be up there again because, as I said, he's been quite impressive this season. As I said in the review, and he's got a good record at Kota. He finished on the podium there last year. So that's what I'd probably say for that. In terms of guys who I think will struggle, I mean, you're looking at it, and the ones who are most likely to struggle are going to be the Yamahas because, I mean, they've had a terrible start to the season. But I do think that this is going to be a good race for Alex Rins and maybe for Fabio, because, I mean, Rins is just really good around Kota for some reason. He won there on Suzuki in 2019, and he also won around there on the Honda bike as well, which was quite odd, considering how bad that Honda was. And speaking of Honda, I don't know where they're going to be, to be honest. Because, I mean, the thing is, some weekends they're quicker than KTM, and some weekends they're slower than them. Like, last weekend they were quicker than KTM. But I don't know. Because the thing is, right, for me, you have to discount Acosta completely from the KTM argument, because the guy is a beast. Not in that kind of way. I don't know if that's getting cut or not. Is that getting cut? Is that getting cut? No? Okay. I'll rephrase. The guy is a monster on the bike. He's a monster. He is Da Vinci at his easel. Or if you want a modern version of that, Bob Ross at his easel. The liquid white. The liquid white. Let's add a little bush here. And that tree's a little long. Let's make another one. If you guys want me to do more Bob Ross impressions, comment down below. So yeah, I think Honda are probably going to be out there with KTM in terms of pace. But yeah, it's still going to be Ducati and Aprilia. I mean, I could probably predict the top 5 right now, and it's probably because it'll probably be Marc Marquez, Pedro Acosta, the 2 Aprilias, and probably DG or one of the track houses. That's probably going to be the top 5. Because the thing is there's only 2 Ducatis that have actually been quick this year. DG and Marc. Alex hasn't shown his pace yet. Alex Marquez. Pecco's been poor. And Fermin Aldeguer has not raced long enough this year for an actual sample size. And also he's been injured, so you can't really judge. Kota is quite a brutal race on him. It is going to be a brutal race on him, though, because there's a lot of corners. It's very fast. And so it's going to be difficult. And there's going to be a lot of riders who are going to make mistakes. I mean, Kota is a very attritional race. I seem to recall last year was a really attritional race. Am I right in saying that, or am I wrong? Am I correct in saying that? 16 riders finished, so maybe. I don't know if I'm making that up. What race am I thinking of? Was there a Kota race where there was a lot of attrition? No, not really, actually. There's been like a few where there's been 16 bikes that finished. Oh, yes, here it is. 13 bikes finishing in 2023. That's the one I was thinking of. Oh my gosh, that was when Jonas Folger was filling in on the KTM on the Tech 3 bike. Yes, I do remember this race. This was a mental race. 2023. This was when Rins won on the Honda. Marini was second on for VR46, and Quartararo was third for Yamaha. That, oh my gosh, there's not even a Ducati in the. There's not even an Aprilia. There's like it's so weird. There's no factory Ducati in the top 5. In fact, the highest Ducati factory bike is Pirro in 11th. Because I'm guessing that Enea Bastianini was injured, so Pirro would have been filling in for him, and Pecco crashed. Oh, I remember this race. Yeah, 13 bikes finishing it, and you know, it has proved to be a race of attrition. I mean, 16 or 15 guys have finished the race in the past 2 years, and there's usually 22 riders on the grid, so there's usually quite a lot of retirements in MotoGP at the Circuit of the Americas. Sorry. So I reckon, as I said, Marc Marquez first, Marco Bezzecchi second, Jorge Martin third. I'll even say a top 5. I'm feeling confident. I'll go Pedro Acosta fourth, and I will say Fabio Di Gianantonio in fifth. It'll either be him in fifth, or I think that's probably going to be the top 5. And I think the top 3 guys that I said, I think they'll 100% be on there. But I think Acosta, DG, Ayagura, Raul Fernandez, and maybe Alex Marquez might be like a switch around. I can't see the Hondas being up there. I can't see the Yamahas being up there. Rins might be good, but he's not that good around Kota. I don't think any other KTM will be up there apart from Pedro. So I think it'll be the 2 Trackhouse bikes, maybe the 2 Gresini bikes at a push, because obviously Firmin's still coming back from injury. Alex doesn't start the season very well, but he did finish 6th in Brazil. So it'll probably be the 2 Trackhouses, DG, Acosta, and Alex Marquez that are fighting for that top 5, the bottom of the top 5. Because I think the top 3 is nailed on, being Bez, Jorge, and Marc Marquez. So that's I think a review of MotoGP. There's no home races for any of the riders because none of them are American. I will have a quick little glance at Moto2 and Moto3, but I didn't watch Moto3 last time out, so I'm kind of having to guess a little bit. But when it comes to quota, when it came to last year's race, if I have a look at that. Oh great, it goes to the NASCAR page. When it comes to MotoGP, Moto2, and Moto3 last year, didn't Dixon win in America last year? He did! I was right! Ball knowledge. Yeah, so Arbolino was second, Alonso Lopez was third, and this is in terms of current guys. Canet fourth, Guevara fifth, Ortola sixth, Ogata was in eighth, Vire was in 10th, Alonso was in 14th. So that's interesting. Moreira was down in 21st. And Aegis was down in 23rd. The two Dynavolts were really far down the order because Gonzalez was in 22nd. So that's fascinating because, I mean, that's where those guys were last year. The two guys that finished, and that's crazy. Barry Baltus finished third in the standings last year. That's crazy to me. Despite the fact that he never won a race. I don't think he never actually won a Moto2 race, did he? He's still in the class, but he's never won a race. He finished second in Spain and France last year at Jerez and at Le Mans. That's wild. And also in Germany at the Sachsenring, at Brno, and at Misano as well. Very consistent year. And also in Qatar in the first race of 2024. But anyway, tell you what, I'm going to say that I reckon Guevara's going to be up there. I'm going to predict a podium, and I'm going to go Izan Guevara first, Danny Holgado second, and Manu Gonzalez third. And then I think David Alonso will be in fourth, and I'm going to go Vire in fifth. That's a bit of a random top five, but something in my bones just tells me that Guevara's going to be up there, because he has been good at quota, as far as I can remember anyway. Where did he finish last year? Yeah, he finished fifth in quota last year, and that was his third best finish of the season, after the win he got in Valencia and the second he got in Indonesia. So I was right. He has got a good record there. So yeah, I reckon he'll be up there. And then Moto3, we have got. Oh, I'm trying to get the. It's a bit too zoomed in. That's the problem. There we go. And then Moto3 last year, I bet you right now whoever won it isn't even in the class anymore. Yep, Rueda won it. I'm not surprised because Rueda won a lot of races last season. Quiles finished fifth, and that was in his first ever race. So yeah, Quiles is probably going to be the favourite again. I'll say Quiles will get a win. I'll go Carpe in second, and I'll say Adrian Fernandez in third. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be an all-Spanish podium. Unless Valentin Perrone or Marco Morelli or Veda Pratima or Casey O'Gorman or Salmela or Danish or Kelso can do something about it. Because yeah, I can't see there not being a Spanish rider on at least two steps to the podium. That's my opinion. Especially when you look at last year's results and you see that Carpe and Quiles finished fifth and sixth. And if David Munoz is back, I don't know if he will be. He was on pole last year for the race. So there's that. Kelso finished second though. So I mean, it's a weird one. Joe Kelso is an enigma. That's my opinion of him. He is so difficult to predict. Sometimes he'll show up and then sometimes he just vanishes. So it's difficult to predict. I'm gonna say Quiles wins though ahead of Carpe and Almanza. Adrian Fernandez. I said sorry. So yeah, that's what I think the top three is going to be for Moto3, and that leads us into IndyCar, which is going to be the final thing that we talk about today. This is a relatively short episode. However, I'm quite tired. I've had a long day. I've done a lot of filming and recording and things like that. It's 11 o'clock now, so I am going to be going to bed soon. I've got class tomorrow at 1 o'clock until 5, which is great. Who won in Alabama last year? Was it Palou? It probably was, wasn't it? Yeah, of course it was. Lundgaard was second and McLaughlin was third. Who was fourth? VK. That does not surprise me. Right, do you know what? I'm going to say dark horse. Pardon me. Dark horse for Barber. I'm going to go Romain Grosjean. And the reason why is because that overtake he made on, I think it was McLaughlin in 2023, I think it was? I think it was 2023 when he was battling for the lead with him. Was it in 2023? Yes, it was. He finished second because I think McLaughlin won that race, didn't he? Yeah. There was a really, really nice overtake from Grosjean. I don't know if I'm allowed to show it, but it was a lovely overtake he made when McLaughlin came out the pits. So I'm going to go Grosjean for the dark horse because, I mean, he's got a good record around Barber, and I think based on the pace they had at St. Petersburg, which I think is the only race you can really represent because in Arlington they had all sorts of issues with his car. I'd probably say I think Grosjean's going to be the dark horse. So now we're going to get into I think the podium finishers are going to be. So it's difficult because the thing is Palou is so good, but I don't want to say he's going to win it because it's so boring, and also it'll probably happen because I've said it. I'm going to will it into existence. Fine. Palou wins. And then I'm going to say second place, I'm going to say, honestly, it could be the same top three that it was last year. It actually could be. But I'm not going to go for that because that would be boring. I'm going to say Palou wins ahead of Pato O'Ward, and I'm going to say Lundgaard third. And then I think in the rest of the top five will be McLaughlin, and I'm going to say Grosjean. I think Grosjean... Nah. Actually, I won't. I think he'll be top 10. I think Grosjean will finish top 10, but I don't think he'll be top 5. Who do I think will be fifth? Because the thing is, there's quite a few candidates there. You've got... I think for me, the top four is probably going to be Alex, Pato, Christian, and Scott. Should I go Kirkwood? Yeah, I'll go Kirkwood. Thing is, Andretti have been really quick this season, and so you're probably expecting them to have at least one car in the top 5, and they probably will. I mean, Kirkwood's been so good this season, and he deserves all the praise that he's getting because he is a genuinely really quick guy, and he has been underappreciated for a long time. I remember Herta used to be the golden boy at Andretti, and Kirkwood was always sort of he's there, but he's not, as good as him. I mean, I think that's a big reason why Brian Herta switched from being Colton's spotter and, being his strategist to being Kyle Kirkwood's strategist. Because the thing is, right, I think that the most underappreciated, there's two people in IndyCar who are massively underappreciated, and that's Barry Wamser, and this is to the general fan, and Brian Herta, because Barry Wamser is a genius. That man is one of the main reasons why Alex Palou is so successful, because he can get the best out of Alex Palou with the strategies that him and his team come up with. And we saw that last year. I mean, the amount of times he was in an IndyCar press conference, oh my God, it's ridiculous. It was the same questions every week. How can you guys be stopped? How can you guys be stopped? And so, if Palou doesn't win in Barber, I think IndyCar fans will be quite happy as long as it isn't Kirkwood, because Kirkwood's too good as well. So I think they'll probably be wanting Pato or McLaughlin or Lundgaard to win, especially Lundgaard, because I mean Lundgaard's, he's not won since he's joined McLaren. He's been really consistent, but he's not won since he's joined McLaren. I think though the biggest fan win would be Power, because he finished third in Arlington, but apart from that, he's not had a very good season so far. He's 11th in the standings. I think it'd be a great result for him if he did end up winning. So yeah, I think Palou's going to win it, unfortunately. I can just see it happening. I mean, if we look at the last 2 years at Barber, Palou won it in 2025. I think that's where he took his first win as well, if I recall. He finished 5th in 2024. So to be fair, McLaughlin's got a good record around there. McLaughlin's got 2 wins there, which is pretty good. But I just think Palou is now in a flow state where you just cannot catch him at all. Because that was the season where Palou didn't win many races, but he just finished in the top 5. But in 2025, he won like 7 races, I'm pretty sure. 3, 5, 6. Yeah, he won 8 races. He won 8 times last season. He won like almost half of the races. Because there was like 17 races last season, wasn't there? Yeah, and he won 8 of them. Kirkwood won 3. Pato won 2. Dixon won 1. And Rasmussen and Newgarden both won one. And did anybody else win a race? I don't think so. Power won in Portland. That's right, because that was the only one. Penske only had 2 wins that year. So I'm gonna say Palou for the win. But yeah, that's been Fast and a Bullet. I've been your host, Liam Ploetner. Thank you all very much for watching. This has been episode number 6. And comment down below what your predictions are for this weekend. Give the video a like, or podcast a like. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I will see you all next week for the reviewing of these races. And then we will be previewing let's have a little look. What is on in the first weekend of April? It is going to be nothing. There won't be an episode next week. Okay. There'll only be a reviewing episode. So there you go, because there's nothing on this week, next weekend. I've literally looked, and it's only Super Formula, and I'm not getting up at 6:45 to watch that. When I've got a flight the next day, because I'm going to Tenerife for a week. So that's everything, I'm pretty sure. Thank you all very much for watching. As I said, like and subscribe. Comment down below, giving me your predictions for IndyCar, Moto2, Moto3, MotoGP, F1, NASCAR, the whole lot. Hype the video, and go and check out some of my other videos. Go and check out some of my shorts, such as my stats videos. And I will see you all in the next video, whenever that may be, in the next podcast, which will probably be next week. This has been Fast and a Bullet. I've been your host, Liam Ploetner, and this has been episode 6. See you guys next time.